Hi, this is Meg Lightheart from megalightheart.com, and this week we are going to talk about getting on top of things. And there's a lot of stuff floating around if you read about productivity that seems to suit a certain type of brain. And I've boiled down some of the principles that come from some of that so that you can design a system that actually works for you. So there's three aspects that I think are important. We're going to talk about the first one today. But before we do that, I just wanted to let you know why I am someone who you might want to listen to about this. Firstly, I used to teach. Back in the day, we called it time management or productivity. I was Europe's lead trainer for a particular type of productivity system. So I've done a lot of thinking. I've tried a lot of systems out. I've done a lot of working with groups and individuals on this kind of stuff. The second reason is I'm a recovering procrastinator. I was a chronic procrastinator. In such a way that it caused pretty deep financial and emotional impact on me and my family, my family of two at the time. And so I still think of myself as a recovering procrastinator, and I have to stay awake in terms of what I'm doing and what I'm not doing and when I'm putting things off. So the things I'm offering to you have come from hard-won experience. I'm trusting you to fine-tune them to your situation. I am neurotypical, so if you have conditions or disabilities or just ways of working that your brain works differently, I'm hoping the principles we're talking about are universal enough for you to be able to find your way in them. So what the first step in getting on top of things is all open loops, all unfinished things are recorded in a place where you know where they are. All unfinished things, all task-related open loops are recorded somewhere and you know where that place is. We'll talk in a minute about the options, like the logistical options, but I want to give you a picture of why we're doing this. I see a lot of people, and this was me included, wandering through the world going, I must do that, I must do that, I must do that, I must do that. And that both leads to a feeling of things falling through the cracks and the reality of things falling through the cracks. Plus it also means like in the back of your brain, you're burning cycles trying to hold all these unclosed loops. And that means that part of your cognitive capacity is spent doing that, and part of it is also spent kind of worrying that you've forgotten something along the way. So when you get the sensation, and this is only the first step or the first ingredient of 3 ingredients, once you get everything captured, you have the sensation of going, I know nothing is falling through the cracks. And you have 3 options, I think, for how this works: an analog one, a digital one, and like 2 plus 1, an analog one, a digital one, and an audio one. Let me show you my analog one. I have a small notebook with a pen, and I've taken a modified version of Bullet Journal, Google it, which means for me I just write down a dot and then the task, a dot and then the task, and I've got several pages of things written down. When you've done the task, you make the dot into a cross. If you decide not to do the thing at all, you put a line through it, and every now and again you recopy out the list with all the things that are undone, and when you've done that, you turn the dot into a little greater than symbol to go, I've moved this to somewhere else. And recopying the list is a bit of an effort, but there's something around keeping you conscious about the things that are still there. It means that you've reviewed the list. Sometimes I like to do it from the most recent to the furthest back so that it changes the order. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in terms of bullet journal, which seems to have turned into this means that you have this beautiful notebook, Instagrammable bullet journal something. I just took from it the fact that this works as a list, and so that stays by my bed. That's with me all the time, and whenever anything occurs to me, I go to write it down. So a notebook and a pen is really straightforward. You can also, and this is what I did for years and years, use Evernote or some kind of digital note-taking thing. I happen to use Evernote, and so you can have a widget on your screen on your phone where you press to go new note, and then it starts up a new note. Mine get automatically filed in this folder called Someday Maybe on hold, which means it's just everything, there's no priority in there, everything just gets thrown in, and then you can go into that folder and then set up different folders. We'll talk about that more later on in the week, and move things over so you know what you need to do. So that's the digital version and the analog version. The reason I'm moving away from the digital version now is it means that my phone's in my hand, and I have been experimenting with some things around digital minimalism, and I've tried to crack my addiction to my phone, and that means I look at my phone and then I start going through all the apps and stuff. The 2+1 option is that you have an audio version, and when I used to teach this productivity thing years ago, we would recommend people had a portable dictaphone, which now of course would be on your phone, and you record a voice note every time you think of something. This is really good because it doesn't need both hands, so when you're doing something else you can just take it out, record and put it away. You could put a widget on your home screen so it just goes straight into a note. You can do that with Evernote or just with the voice note software that's on your phone. So that's good. Also means in the middle of the night you can capture stuff without having to turn your light on and write stuff. The issue with it is that it needs to be copied over either into the analog version or the digital version of your list somewhere. My recommendation is that you only have one list and you put everything into there. And there's two ways of approaching this. One is you just start doing it today, and you just, as you think about the things you need to do today and anything that's coming to the surface for you, and you start recording that one task per line or one task per note. The more thorough way that you can do that, which I do feel is good, but don't let it become a reason to procrastinate, is you spend a good couple of hours really thinking about all the open loops. So everything to do with work, go through your inbox and write down all your inboxes as well, not just email but Slack or Trello or whatever the hell you've got, and write down all the tasks that have been given to you. Scan your work life, go back to your diary and think about meetings that you've had and what the unfinished tasks are there. Then you can begin to look around your living space and write down. This can be at the level of hobbies, dreams, DIY tasks, everything that you can think of that you want to do, have to do, have been given to do, dream of doing, must do, should do. Write it all down. And that does mean you're going to come up with a really, really long list. And this is not the only step, obviously, because then you've got just this really, you've got list overwhelm then. But don't, my advice would be, don't filter what's going on the list. Make the list as complete as possible. And then when anything surfaces from the back of your mind where you go, oh God, I've got to do that, write it down so that it's captured. Over a period of a few days, you begin to feel a clarity come over you where you know everything is recorded and you know that nothing is falling through the cracks in terms of all the open loops are somewhere where you can access them. Of course, with a notebook, there's no backup, so you do need to know where the notebook is. Maybe you can back it up with photos, I don't know, which is the positive side of using the digital thing, was there would be a backup, but the negative thing is that means your phone has to be always with you, so it depends how you feel about that. But making sure that you're moving towards an experience of all unfinished tasks are captured in the same place. If I was being really hardcore, even if you're using your inboxes as to-do lists and you're changing the priority or making them unread or whatever, that's having lists in more than one place, and that means you don't get the full sensation, the full benefit of this. I would be going through my email and writing down the tasks onto the list rather than using the inbox as a task to capture what to do. There's something deeply stilling about knowing that it's all in one place and you can go through and look at it. So that's that's why I'm offering you today. You could start right away, find a notebook, find some paper and a bulldog clip, something that needs to be not just the list that you're making just for, oh, these are the things that are top of my mind, but go as deep as you can in terms of making that one place the place where you can capture things. And then for the rest of the week, we're going to think around what else needs to happen so that you can actually begin to decide what you're doing, and more importantly what you're not going to be doing, so that you can actually gain some peace of mind, cut through the overwhelm and begin to feel like you're actually getting on top of things. I hope that's useful. Of course, if you need some support with this kind of stuff, go and look at my coaching offers on megalightheart.com. If you're finding these videos useful, or the content that I'm producing useful, feel free. I would love it if you became a monthly patron, and you can do that by going to patreon.com/megalightheart. And wherever you're watching this, click like, make a comment, ask a question in the comments. That all means that I can find out what you're thinking. Also helps with the algorithms. And if you're on YouTube, click subscribe so you get to know when these videos are coming out. And then the rest of the week, we're going to be thinking about some more aspects of this conundrum of how you get on top of all the things and be doing the things that are really important for you to get done in your day, in your week, and your month. So I'm Meg Lightheart from megalightheart.com, and I'll see you in the next one tomorrow.